I looked at her and for a moment I searched her face for the Claire I used to know. But she was gone. Or maybe she never existed at all. She stayed the night. Not because I invited her to, but because, after standing there drenched and broken, she collapsed onto the couch and cried herself into sleep. I watched from across the room, sitting in silence while the rain drummed steadily against the windows. I didn't have the heart to throw her out. Not yet. Around 4 a.m. she stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, confused. "David," she whispered, like she wasn't sure if I was real. "Are you still here?" "I haven't moved," I said flatly. She sat up, hugging the throw blanket around herself. "You didn't even wake me. You looked exhausted from all the lying." She winced. "You don't have to keep stabbing me. I'm already bleeding." I didn't answer that. Instead, I walked into the kitchen, poured 2 cups of coffee, and handed her one. She took it with shaking hands. "I want to explain," she said softly. I didn't stop her. She stared into her coffee like it held the answers. "It was never about you. It was about them. Madison, Lexi, Serena. They're toxic. Always have been. But they've been part of my life for so long. I forgot how to breathe without them." "And what? Mocking me made you feel accepted?" She nodded slowly. "They never liked you. Said you were too quiet. Too nice. Too real. And I hated that I let their voices drown out yours." There was a pause. Then she added, "I know I crossed a line that night. But it wasn't just the wine. It was me trying to be someone I'm not, to fit into a mold I outgrew years ago." I studied her. She sounded genuine. But something still felt off. "So why now?" I asked. "Why the tears? Why show up here after 3 weeks? What changed?" She looked down. Then quietly she said, "Because Madison told me she was the one who told you about that night." I blinked. "What?" "She saw your coat in the hallway when you left. Realized you must have heard everything. And instead of warning me, she texted me the next day saying, 'Looks like your perfect boyfriend finally cracked.'" Claire's voice broke. "They laughed about it." I stared at her, heart pounding. "So you didn't even realize what you said until after?" She shook her head. "I was drunk. I didn't remember all the details. Until I listened to the voicemail Madison sent. She recorded it. She sent it to me like it was a game." I clenched my jaw. "She recorded it?" Claire reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. "I saved the audio. I listened to it a dozen times. And every time I hear my voice, I hate myself more." She played the clip. It was even worse than I remembered. Her voice was loud, cruel, mocking. "David probably thinks sketching a skyline is foreplay. I swear I keep him around for the view and the credit score." Laughter followed. Ugly. Shrill. Then Madison's voice. "Too bad he heard you. You might actually have to find someone interesting now." I felt like I was watching a stranger wear her face. Claire paused the clip and looked at me through glassy eyes. "That isn't who I want to be. I want to be the girl you kissed in the rain. The one you surprised in Paris. The woman you believed in." I didn't respond. Instead, I walked to the window and stared out into the foggy morning light. She was right about one thing: I had believed in her. Maybe too much. But belief doesn't undo betrayal. "I don't know if I can come back from this," I said without turning around. "Some wounds don't bleed. They rot." Behind me, I heard her choke back a sob. "I deserve that. But I'll do anything to make this right." I turned back. "Then tell me the whole truth. No filters. No more half-truths. I want to know everything. Every lie. Every moment you doubted us. And I want to know now." She hesitated, then nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "But there's one thing I haven't told you yet. Something worse than that night." I braced myself. Claire gripped the coffee mug like it was holding her together. She didn't meet my eyes when she said, 3 months ago. Before Paris. Something happened." My heart tightened. "Go on," I said, my voice low. She exhaled, then finally looked at me. "Madison introduced me to a guy. His name was Ethan. He works in finance. We all went out one night. You were at a conference in Boston. First it was nothing. Just drinks. Dancing. But Madison kept pushing him toward me, saying things like, 'You deserve someone exciting.'" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "You kissed him," I said flatly. Claire flinched. Worse. I slept with him. The room fell silent. It was as if the walls had caved in around me. The air sucked out in one violent, invisible blow. My ears rang. My chest felt hollow. She continued quickly. It was once. It meant nothing. I felt disgusting after. I left in the middle of the night, came home, threw away the clothes I wore. I never told him where I lived. I blocked him on everything. Why are you telling me this now? I asked, barely keeping the tremble from my voice. Because you deserve the whole truth. I didn't want to lie by omission anymore. After that night, I swore I'd be better. I buried it, convinced myself I could still be the woman you saw in me. But that lie sat like poison in my chest. I stared at her. This woman I had once dreamed of marrying. So you cheated, mocked me, lied. And then when it all came crashing down, you came here asking for forgiveness. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm not that woman anymore. I gave a bitter laugh. You were that woman 3 months ago, Claire. That's not ancient history. I know, she whispered. And I wouldn't blame you if you never looked at me again. But I needed to tell you. I needed to stop pretending that I deserved your silence. I don't want to be forgiven, David. I just want you to know / I finally see what I destroyed. The rage inside me twisted into something colder. Numbness. For so long I had clung to the idea of Claire. The muse, the flame, the partner I had poured my heart into. But now I saw the whole picture. And it was ugly. Damaged beyond recognition. I stood slowly, walking to the table where my sketchpad sat open. The last drawing I'd made of her, barefoot in the kitchen, smiling at something dumb I'd said, stared back at me. Without a word, I tore it down the middle. Claire flinched. I loved you, I said. More than you ever knew. But you killed that love every time you chose their approval over my heart. Every time you twisted a truth, every time you laughed with them about me like I was your pet project. And now this. She looked at me, shattered. What happens now? I looked her in the eye. Now. I live without you. The days that followed were a strange mix of liberation and ache. Claire left my apartment that morning without another word. She didn't beg. She didn't scream. She simply looked at me with swollen eyes, nodded and walked out. Maybe it was the first time she truly understood that not all things broken can be repaired. But even with her gone, the aftermath stayed. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was the slow, aching grief of losing not just someone I loved, but the version of myself who had believed in her so completely. Trust, once shattered, doesn't fall like glass. It lingers like dust in the air, impossible to clean entirely. 1 month later, I came home and found a small white envelope slid under my apartment door. No name, just a soft imprint of lipstick along the seal. Inside was a handwritten letter from Claire. David, there are no more apologies left in me that you haven't already heard. So instead of saying sorry, I'll just say thank you. Thank you for loving the real me even when I didn't. Thank you for showing me what loyalty and gentleness feel like. And thank you for walking away because I finally understand why you had to. I moved out of the city, Madison, and I haven't spoken since. I deleted every photo, every reminder of the version of me that betrayed the best man I ever knew. I'm not writing this hoping you'll take me back. I know that ship has sailed. I'm writing because I want you to know that I see now. Really see. And I'll carry that guilt for the rest of my life. But I hope one day when you're holding someone else's hand, hearing her laugh at your bad puns, and sketching her into a sunrise, maybe you'll smile. Just a little. Because you once gave your whole heart to someone who didn't deserve it. And you still came out better. Goodbye, David. Claire. That night I didn't feel rage. Or pain. Or even regret. I felt clean. She had tried to break me with her betrayal. But in the end she broke herself. What I gave her wasn't something you find again. It was rare, quiet, unwavering love. And now it was gone. That night, I took out a fresh page from my sketchpad. I didn't draw Claire. I drew myself, standing on a bridge in Paris alone looking out over the Seine. A single caption beneath it. She laughed and I walked away. She cried and I didn't look back.